What's up guys, StardustYGO here. In today's video we'll talk about, do I even like Yu-Gi-Oh? And this is a question I sometimes get, like, why do you make videos if you don't like Yu-Gi-Oh? Hey, you're usually very negative about Yu-Gi-Oh, why do you make videos about Yu-Gi-Oh? And similar things. Now, first you need to establish two things. One thing. There's two Yu-Gi-Ohs. You have the modern card game, and you have just Yu-Gi-Oh in general, a game that has existed for I don't know how long now. I mean, it's been a long while. I believe 1999 is when the first set came out in OCG. I forgot the exact year, but yeah. Well, 1999, was it 1999? Am I just making up numbers? It's existed for a while. Let's keep it at that. Yeah, but the game has a long history, and for most of the game it has been a lot of fun. It's just that recent few years I think Konami's made a lot of mistakes, especially in the TCG. TCG is just outright worse than OCG nowadays. There used to be a while where the TCG was alright, but nowadays, nah son. The OCG is just way better. But yeah, I definitely like Yu-Gi-Oh! In general when you talk about, the animes, the game entirely, the collection aspect, the deck building aspect. I talk about it since the existence of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Property, and also the video games. But the modern card game, it's just poorly handled by Konami. It's just poorly managed, very poorly handled. The game has a lot of interesting archetypes with a lot of cool art, a lot of unique, cool playing styles. You have FA and Fortune Ladies focusing on leveling up. You have something like Witchcraft, which I think is pretty awesome, where you can basically discard spells to fuel themselves, and then during the end phase you add them back. It's kind of a neat, cool gimmick, and you have, for example, Magical Musketeer. That's the one thing that's very unique to Yu-Gi-Oh, the uniqueness of archetypes. If you look at other card games, something like Hearthstone, they might have something similar to archetypes, but definitely not the way Yu-Gi-Oh executes them. I think that's the one thing Yu-Gi-Oh stands out in. Now, here's the problem. Power creep has gotten so bad that anything that isn't like from at least a few years ago, especially when talking about the grand scheme of things, is completely unplayable in both casual and competitive. I mean, for competitive, sure, but also in casual. And just a general issue with the power level of the game at the moment just causes a lot of old cards to be not viable, and I think that sucks. When you have such a great card pool, when you have so many promising archetypes, and only really a select few have any chance to be played. Because, let's be honest, you'll always have a meta. But right now, and for years, the meta has been too oppressive. Due to tools like Ash Blossom, Impermanence, Nibiru, but also the Appaloosas, the Savage Dragons. There's two big evils currently in the meta that is way too easy to access hand traps that just negate too much, which just cast certain decks. Like, Amazonas. Let's say you play Amazonas, right? If a meta deck is somewhat fair, theoretically you could at least try to create a board and probably still get your ass kicked, but you at least get a chance to play. Nowadays, due to negates and stuff, and hand traps, you don't get a chance to play at all. Like, you just don't. And that's mostly due to toxic card design and mainly making extra deck monsters specifically do too much. I think that's the biggest issue in Yu-Gi-Oh! I like the extra deck mechanic, but extra deck monsters do too much. But yeah, I could go on a very long rant about why I think the situation is messed up, but yeah, I think the core issue is that there's too many once per turn negates, meaning that if these monsters survive during the next turn they can negate again, meaning you either break the board this turn or you lose the duel. That's how it works in most situations. Then you have cards like El Shaddai Winda that never should have been a thing. That's like a floodgate on an extra deck monster. That's even worse. Because then you need to draw your lucky out or you lose the duel. It's like literally a stat check in a badly made RPG game. You need to do this much damage or you lose, You need to draw this card or you lose. I don't think that's a healthy game situation. And especially floodgates, of course, is a thing that's been plaguing the game forever. And some floodgates are alright. Anti-spell fragment, for example, is alright against decks that aren't Pendulum. When Pendulum's involved, they just can't play the cards. An entirely new level of bullshit. But yeah, I think the biggest issue is just too many ways to not make your opponent play the game at the moment. Cards doing too much as well. It creates, once again, power creep. It makes the game inaccessible. I know. I think it's a shame, because there's a lot of new cards that are theoretically cool that come out, you know, like... I can't really think of a quick example right now. But sometimes you do get a lot of cool cards, but... in the end it doesn't really matter, because they're not going to be playable anyway. Like the new... yeah, let's say the new Sherry LeBlanc's deck, right? Let's say you like those. They're not even going to be playable at locals. The power level is just too insane. I wish Konami just put more care into the game and put in some actual effort to balance the game, so yeah. It's actually fun to play, because that's the truth, the game isn't fun to play. There's only a select few decks you're allowed to play. If you don't play those, you can just basically fuck off, you're not gonna have any fun. And I think that's very problematic, and that's why I don't like the modern game. So yeah, basically I do like Yu-Gi-Oh! The idea of Yu-Gi-Oh! Mostly. But the modern card game is a wreck, and Konami seems to be incapable of fixing it. So that's also the direction I currently take with my channel. I do card reviews. But I do review them on basis of the modern game. That's why I'm very strict on a lot of cards, and usually tell 90% of them they're garbage, maybe even more, because, well, Konami created a situation where they're just not playable. Blame Konami for that. If they actually bothered balancing their shit and fixing their game, I could be a lot more positive during reviews and be like, hey, cool, Cyberdark got a new interesting trap card, but yeah, let's be realistic. Due to the state of the game, support has to be insane for decks to be good. And it's just a bloody shame. Because how do you make something good? Give it negates. Do you want to give every single deck in the game negates? Yeah. And if you want to make them good, you have to, and that kind of sucks. Dus then you get the whole power creep of normal summon Aleister is Omni Negate. And 2 summons can easily be like 3 negates. So any deck that can't... any normal summon that doesn't end up being an Omni Negate isn't worth summoning. And any 2 card combo that doesn't lead 3 negates at least is worth using. It's like... It makes it possible for Konami to release new cool cards, and I think it's honestly a big shame. I want the game to be good, you know, I liked the property a lot. I played video games growing up, I liked those. I actually didn't play them a lot growing up, actually, only like starting from 2011, and that's not really me growing up. Well, partially, but you know. The game can be fun when, you know, people sometimes make false claims that Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to not be better, but back in the day, your negate was a Stardust Dragon that could negate, you know, a card destruction effect specifically, for example. You couldn't just negate your opponent's searches, your reinforcements of the army, your... well, there are a lot of things you couldn't just easily negate, you know. And yeah, you had OTKs back then as well. The game wasn't that much slower or anything. But at least the duels themselves, you know, they were more back and forth. They felt like nowadays I feel a duel is solved the moment you draw your cards, you know. Yeah, you play them out, your opponent plays theirs out, but if you didn't open the right cards for the right situation, doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna lose. And I think that's a huge shame. I just wish duels were as back and forth as back then. You know, the whole idea of being able to top deck your way out of situations, sometimes at least. Duels, yeah, just being in general more back and forth, because I've done cross-balance segments, I've went back there, I've done the actual duels, and yeah, there were definitely unfair decks, there's always going to be problematic decks. But the lower power levels, like Tier 3, Rogue and below, those duels were a lot of fun. And those duels right now are not fun. The game has the potential to be good, but yeah, Konami just refused to let it be, and I think that's the biggest shame. So, in conclusion, it was a pretty long video. Yes, I liked the idea of Yu-Gi-Oh! I liked animes, most of them at least, Frames and Savage again. Yeah, no. Those are terrible, but I like the anime, I like the video games, I like the concept of the card game. Just the execution at the moment is terrible by Konami, and yeah. That's why I make the content I do. Reviews, so I don't actually have to play a card game I don't enjoy, because that would just be stupid, right? That's also why I'm gonna look for content where I don't have to play the modern card game. It's also probably why series like progression series are doing well. People don't want to directly admit it, but it's way more fun to see past formats and alternative formats than the actual modern card game. I mean, another great example of this is the Remote Duel Invitationals. I watched one where Tetsim, great YouTube by the way, participated. That's when, just before the last ban list. There are no people watching it. There's no interest in these events. I think that's one of the biggest issues right now. The game's in a bad place due to multiple bad decisions by Konami and only that. This game could be awesome, it could be amazing, so many people could be playing it. Imagine big streamers like Moist Critical, maybe XQC or other streamers, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It could be a reality if Konami got their shit together and fixed their game and released a proper simulator. Because Duel Links isn't once again terrible, but we need one for the Master Duel game. And one might come up, but you have the legacy of the Duelist, I'm not so sure about that one. But yeah, I think if Konami started managing their game better, then this game could just be more better. And because I don't enjoy playing the game right now, and I don't see myself returning to the physical game ever, even if this whole Rona thing blows over. And that's not just, it's not just the price of cards or something, which is another huge issue, which I'll probably address in another video soon. This game has a lot of problems, and Konami just isn't addressing them, and the game has a lot of potential, and that's the saddest part. This game could be great, it could be awesome, even during the pandemic, The game could be awesome, it could reach a new high if they want. I mean, YCS at least don't show the active player base, but at least show there's a group of players big enough that want to play competitively. Of course, there's the whole nostalgia brand. There's multiple seasons of the anime already that a lot of people grew up with. If only they made the card game good, then yeah. So yeah, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't like the modern card game. That's the conclusion of this video. I hope this answered that question, at least for people that always wonder, StardustYGO, do you even like the game? Because the answer is yes, but no. Hope that makes sense. Stardust signing out. Peace.